Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of Survivor 41, Episode 10. Happy early Thanksgiving to everyone out there. We are amazingly thankful to Coco Vanderwolf, and
Yes.
I am feeling especially thankful for Survivor because they gave us the turducken of episodes tonight. This may be one of my favorite episodes in a really long time. Well produced, well edited, so many iconic moments.
Ricard took a huge swing and
Yeah.
he hit, and we're going to talk about whether or not it was the right time. This was the right move. Was it a totally baller move? Is this really screwed him at the end? But before we get into all of that, happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there who is celebrating. We're also going to be celebrating. We're going to
Yes.
have a whole bunch of pictures up at our Instagram, Matt and Jess TV, including a cheese ball turkey that I'm making. For those of you who don't know, a cheese ball is way easier to make than I thought. I had no idea, and it tastes way better, and it's going to look like a turkey. I hope.
It will. It will.
We'll see. It's gonna maybe have a Slim Jim with like a chocolate head. We'll see if it works out. There's also pretzels involved. Anyways, Matt and Jess
Yes.
TV if you want to see if this actually turns out.
Now I am really, really hungry. Yes, it is.
Not till tomorrow.
Okay, no, that is going to be amazing. This episode is amazing. One thing I will say from the start here, because I mean we got to just dive right into all the craziness. I agree with you about the baller move. This is a extreme baller move. This is the ballerest of baller moves that one can make. I have no idea if this will work out for Ricard in the long term. But you know what I do know? He didn't stand a great chance of winning against Shan at the very end. And with that in mind, it doesn't really matter if you place, sixth place or fifth place or whatever. You give yourself the best chance to actually win if you do make it to the end.
I think the biggest problem or the biggest issue that came with this, with Shan giving this information to Ricard about her being in this alliance with four people, that's kind of like, oh yeah, you're mostly my number one, but
Yeah.
actually I'm working with these other three people, and the other three people wanted to get you out, but you're not getting out right now, but I'm letting you know that that could have happened. He knows that he's sort of at best fifth in that situation. Shane can't keep holding on to him and burn her own alliance. The thing is I think like her own alliance and Ricard are not really taking into consideration that Shan will burn anybody, like anybody. We watched her burn JD and take his advantage and then send him out the door. She is willing to do what it takes. But I think overall, once he heard that she has the numbers in this game, and yeah, he's one of them, but sort of not really, kind of, that was it. I think the trust was just so broken at that point that in a lot of ways, I think Ricard just didn't have another choice. And it does give him this big move on
Yeah.
his resume. But unfortunately, Shan really burned him on the way out by saying, "You've got my vote for the million." Like, now he's got to win his way to the end.
Yeah, Ricard is screwed in that sense that he did make such a huge move. Everyone knows that he made a huge move, but I think what's so fascinating about all of this, and I love all the nuance that went into this episode because Ricard's a really, really smart player, and I love watching Ricard play. He's
So
probably
do
one of
I.
my favorite just like players to watch in a really long time, and I love Shan too, and it's so rare that you have like this really, really smart player working with this other really smart player.
Mm-hmm.
And the drawback is, if you're Shan, this other smart player knows how smart you are and how crafty you are and how capable you are. So he knows, oh, bleep, I gotta take this person out first because eventually they're smart enough to take me out.
Yeah, and the thing is I'm sure Ricard didn't want to have to do it right now,
Yeah.
but at the same time, now is when he has the votes that are still there that are not part of her alliance.
The thing that I tried to sort of run through here in my head about some of this is like, what are the mechanics of how this went together? Because Shan originally was on Ua, and we know that Heather and Erica, they were on Luvu, and they were there with Danny and Deshawn and all of them. Did Ricard think that, they may not want to get out an original Luvu person, and that this was maybe his only real move to get that many numbers on board?
The weirdest thing out of all this sort of voting thing was Danny, who was kind of like, we need to get out Erica. She's the bigger move than getting out Shan. I've been a big Danny supporter on this channel, but Danny, I can't support that. How is Erica a bigger player than Shan?
Yeah. Shan.
What? Danny, no, my dude.
Shan is by far the biggest threat in this entire game. And I don't know if Erica's running around camp acting like a mastermind, but if she is, we sure aren't seeing it from home. It felt a little bit like Danny was maybe trying to rationalize in his head how to try to keep this alliance together, because on paper there was a certain amount of merit to it, but I think ultimately another problem here, Deshawn, a very, very smart player, and Shan, those two, I don't think in the end could have ever worked together long term, because both of them want to be the captains of the ship. And guess what? There can only be one real captain of the ship. The other person is getting thrown off at some point.
Yeah, the other issue is Leanna. And because she's so close to Shan, that left Deshawn and Danny in kind of a crappy situation if they did end up making it all the way to the end.
There were so many points in this episode where I thought everything was just going to go completely and totally off, and this was not going to work. Like the moment that Erica was just like, oh, let's do the vote split, I was sitting here losing my bleeping mind, being like, okay, Erica, you're just being selfish at this point, because what's going to happen is...
Yes, she is, and she should be. It's Survivor. It's for $1 million.
Yes. It's true.
You do you, Canada.
If I was Erica, I would probably be doing the same thing, but I just felt like something was going to happen. Like maybe Danny and Deshawn are going to screw her over, and then we're going to see a situation where Erica somehow gets voted out with only like 4 people casting votes for her, but that it didn't end up happening. I was wrong.
I just think if the 4 had gone to the end, that Shan was likely gonna win. I mean, maybe Deshawn, but I mean, out of the 4 that were there, it was likely gonna be Shan. It's not the worst move for the other 3 people in the alliance to not have Shan there. I know Leanna is completely dedicated to Shan. Even Shan on her way out turns to her and is like, don't trust anybody. It's just like... You need to trust somebody. What is Leanna going to do? Win till all the way to the end? Like, she's not going to do that.
The most hilarious outcome of all of this is going to be Leanna gets, like, hit with this, like, beam of light when she comes back to Tribal, and that beam is saying, pair up with Xander again. And then all of a sudden, it's like Leanna and Xander become the final 2.
No, I can't see it happening. She's so mad at him.
I know.
And... I get it to a lot of extent. I mean, he made her look like a clown. You can't do that. We've seen that so many times on so many reality shows where somebody didn't need to make you look like such a clown to be like, oh, you can take this fake one. Such a great TV moment for all of us. Yeah. You're not making any friends or getting any jury votes from Leanna doing something like that. That's how Paul lost Big Brother multiple times. You have to... caress, finesse your jury members.
Speaking of getting clowned, there was a moment about I think it was like 10 or 15 minutes in this. I was on such a high horse in this episode. I thought I had the game all figured out, that I watched this show so many times that I was just like, what? This all doesn't matter. Shan's winning. They're all just making us think there's some kind of drama here.
Yeah, the editors are doing a great job this season. Normally it's like, oh, Evie's got the winner's edit. Nope, she's gone. Yeah. Oh, Shan's got the winner's edit. Nope, she's gone. Like, they are doing a great job this season of who's really gonna win. I mean, is it possible it's Xander? Maybe. Xander's gotta stop being the boy who cried idol. Every single tribal, he says the same thing. Oh, I've got this idol. We'll see what happens. You never play it. Just play it.
Xander's got some guts. I will say that to him. He's been in pseudo danger for like multiple weeks in a row. He's still holding on to that thing for dear life, and now
It's amazing.
yeah,
I got to give it to Xander. I'm joking, obviously, about the idol thing, but I got to give it to him.
yeah,
He really is figuring out a way to stay alive and really have not a lot of people working with him and hold on to an idol. That's
yeah.
incredible.
One other beef here, Xander. Stop talking about your idol, but also stop like talking about how alone you are, and being like, well, I'm the lone soldier. It's like, well, you wouldn't be a lone soldier, Xander, if you could find a way to make some inroads. This is kind of on you to a certain extent. And yes, I know that other people are probably excluding you, but you could do a little better socially too.
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that he is playing this. I'm alone. Nobody wants
Yeah.
me. By the way, I also have an idol game because he wants people to not see him as a threat. And nobody mentioned him. Like,
Yeah.
it really is kind of working his, I'm all by myself. Nobody wants me. Like, yeah, you kind of now have isolated yourself that you're by yourself, but now nobody's really looking at you.
Yeah, he's in a very interesting spot at this point in the game, especially, we don't read the tea leaves of everything that happens on Survivor over here. I know you guys will be shocked. Jess and I are not executive producers on the show, but I feel there's a reasonably good chance that another idol is going to be hidden out there, especially now that two idols are out of the game. If you are Xander at this point, just go be your lone soldier out in like the middle of the island, go find another idol, and then like boom, you are in like such an insanely good spot.
Yeah, it's amazing that there's been like so many idols out there and they're all people are going home with them in their pockets.
Yeah, Shan had so much unbelievable power. Credit to, I guess, everybody on this planet for not even, if it gets to final 8 and I'm holding on to an idol, I'm gonna throw that thing down so fast the moment even someone whispers my name. Like, I'm not going home with an idol in my pocket, even if I look dumb playing it.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised that Shan did not decide to play it after her talk with Leanna, because even though Leanna had said, oh, they're throwing out Ricard's name, if I was Shan, I would be worried after
Yeah.
Ricard won his immunity. I'd be like, okay, if they're throwing out his name, they're throwing out his name because he's close to me. How much do I really trust my alliance? Leanna's got my back, sure.
Yeah.
But me and Deshaun have had problems here and there. Where's Danny land on this? Who knows? He could be on my side. He could not be on my side. You just, as she said at Tribal,
Yeah.
everybody lies here.
Yeah, it's Survivor. It's the name of the game. And I love that this season, especially, it feels like we don't have a lot of self-righteous people on there being about, I play with honor and integrity. It's like, no, you don't. Shut up. I hate it when people do that. See,
Oh, I hate it when people do that too. Please don't go on these shows and do that. You shouldn't need to play that way. It shouldn't be that if somebody else doesn't play that way, that you're not a good person or you're not a good player. It's okay to lie on the show.
okay, we're 13 minutes in. Is it fair now to have a little bit of a rant?
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
We're here 13 minutes in. Hit that subscribe button and for Matt's rant. That's where I'm going with that.
Okay, there you go. Subscribe for rant. Okay, reward challenge. Who in the world wants to win these? Like, I'm sorry. If I am playing Survivor, I will, like, eat it. I will fall into the sand. I will have, like, some really dramatic, like, blooper reel moment where I just suck so embarrassingly bad because guess what? Even if other people think I'm throwing it, like, I still think on some level that's a little bit better than actually having to win it and then from there having to pick people out of a lineup to come with you on whatever reward, run the risk that those people who don't get to take part are going to be mad at you. You're going to be away from all the action at camp. Guess I can suffer through a few more days at camp being hungry and cranky and all of that other sort of stuff. If somebody wants to take me on a reward, have at it. Like, I'm fine to do that because guess what? It ain't gonna be my fault. If I'm winning the reward, it's my fault. I will throw every challenge on Survivor, at least the rewards, unless it is one that is like, and you win as a reward, an advantage you can use in an immunity challenge, and in which case I will try to win that.
The crappy thing with this particular reward challenge is that Shan didn't win it, but she got taken on that
Yeah.
reward, and it ended up really costing her because everybody that was left ended up kind of conspiring against her. So, regardless if you win it or you don't win it, if you're separated from everyone else that's left behind, it's not a great spot to be in. I wouldn't want to win it, and I don't want to be chosen. I'd be like, no, I'm good. I don't need the pizza. For some reason, pizza is always the ultimate reward on this show.
Yeah.
I don't need your pizza. I have celiac. I can't eat it anyways. Give it to Xander. It'll be fine.
That would be really funny if somebody's like, Jess, I want to take you on a reward. You're like, I hate pizza. Don't take me. And then they're like, okay, we're going to go take this other person instead.
That's right.
No,
thank you.
This is the funniest thing about rewards is because, like, on paper, like, I don't think that many of us care about reward challenges at all, but yet somehow they, like, indirectly play a part in a lot of really interesting moves, mostly just because there's always people who are left behind to their own devices with nothing to do other than complain and strategize.
Absolutely. That's what these are for. Nobody cares if somebody's getting a stack of grilled cheeses or whatever. It's more about that you've got some people. It shows your hand. Ricard is pulling people to bring with him. So, it shows people's hand and it splits people up so that people can strategize and give us these amazing moves.
This is Ricard. I love you. I love watching you. You are playing an incredible game.
So entertaining, Ricard, because you're watching the 16 minutes in, I'm sure.
You have won too many challenges in a row. I'm sorry, but you won like immunity, reward,
when
immunity.
You're way to the end. Do it.
You really, you and the lone soldier are going to be back and forth on this for the rest of the season because I think both of you are going to have a target, big old square on your back. Let's play a little sliding doors here for a moment. What if, let's say Ricard does not win that immunity challenge? Like, I am really curious what would have happened in that situation because I still think there's a chance he might have stayed if Shan pulled something and then maybe he finds a way to go get rid of Deshawn or something like that. I think it's a radically different game.
Yeah, I don't think that it's a guarantee that he would have gone. I think that Shan would have been still told by Leanna that Ricard was the target, and then she would have just played her idol. I think that we probably would have been looking at Erica going home, and it would have just been a night like that. I still don't think that Ricard was going to go home. I think as soon as Shan found out Ricard is a number for her, at that point, she still would have felt that he was a number for her, and she probably would have kept him. There's a chance she may have kept the idol for herself, but she may have felt like, I'm in a pretty good spot. I have a great alliance. I have a lot of numbers. I'm going to keep Ricard, who's not in my alliance, but he's also a number. So, good for me. I'm surrounded.
Okay, this is, if you're a fan of Heather, I think this may be the time to turn the video off because it's time for the Heather moment. How is Heather, she's in the final 8. Like, did Heather get a confessional tonight? Like, she might have gotten like 1 or 2, but it's really kind of remarkable at this point that someone who's this far in the game, now final 7, has gotten so little screen time.
Yeah, I agree. I said it last week. I am going to say it again. Heather is not going to win this. Yeah. I've seen some people in the comments that were saying that they felt that Heather can win, and I'm really happy that you do think that anybody can win.
Yeah.
I personally, my opinion, she's not going to win. If I was playing this game, I would bring Heather to the end.
For sure.
There's just no resume with her. She's had no screen time. She hasn't really won anything. Nobody's speaking to her. She doesn't have the vote. So I'm sorry to the Heather fans that are out there. She seems like a really lovely person, but she's not winning this game.
Okay, the last thing that is on my heart here, because this was actually a surprisingly emotional episode. Like, there were so many, like just the moment with Shan and Ricard at Tribal, like that was so genuine and so and she is so classy to go out the way that she did and not be angry or hurt or anything like that. Here's the question though. What are the chances Shan plays Survivor again? Because I feel like it is 99.99999%.
Oh, I think they would ask Shan back. I think they would ask Ricard back as well. Both of them are pretty ruthless, and that's exciting to watch. Yeah. I mean, it's more exciting TV. If you're going to take a shot at the person that you're working with and you know that you have to at some point, it's way better than watching the I'm gonna ride or die to the end with you and take you as my number 2 even though I know you're gonna beat me, Derek.
I see.
All you Big Brother people know what I'm talking about. You do not take Derek to the end. You take Heather to the end.
We're the ghost of Big Brother 16 has entered the chat, everybody. Well,
come on.
I know.
Listen, there's something about having integrity, and it is not with this show, and it is not with Big Brother. I'm sorry. I'm sure nobody's listening anymore. It's 20 minutes.
I can't wait for the Big Brother Survivor crossover of Survivor Cody versus Woo and see exactly what happens with. Okay, well, let us know in the comments, what do you want on Survivor Cody versus Woo? But no, also, what did you think about this episode? And thank you, Shan, for being incredible. I loved her this season.
She was so entertaining to watch, truly entertaining. She was willing to do anything to get to the end, and I appreciate that.
All right, well, one last round of the evil music for everybody.
In our heads.
Let's all do
so we don't get demonetized.
That's right. Okay, well, thank you guys. Hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and we will see you here
Happy Thanksgiving!
next time.